When I started brainstorming ideas for my final music video, there were a few things that I wanted to make sure the final video would have. I wanted it to have a very high production value as well as following a more clear storyline. After doing lots of research, the style that really appealed to me was the parallax effect. I started learning how to do this effect by using YouTube videos. When I made my first video using the parallax effect, before I started my lyric video, I started with a picture of a man hitting ping pong balls. I then cut up the photo in Photoshop, cutting out each ball and the person. I then recreated the background using Content Aware tool as well as the stamp tool. In a nutshell, in After Effects I added a virtual camera and moved each layer on the Y and X axis, and therefore when the camera is moved back and forth, an illusion of a moving video is created. Later I was able to create far more complex scenes and environments. I started experimenting with converting still images of cities into full animated 3D scenes. This was my first attempt. This was done by first of all taking a high-res image of a city and exporting it into Photoshop, which then I cut out each building and then rebuilt the background behind it using Content Aware. I then brought a file into After Effects and used the same parallax technique, but this time on a much larger scale. I set the keyframes on the camera from far away, then moving it close, although it still didn't look right, so I added a camera shake and a helicopter noise. With some colour correction, it looked fairly authentic. I wanted to use this shot in my final lyric video, so to incorporate it, first of all I did some colour correction to match the rest of the video, and then motion tracked the words "Love Never Felt So Good" onto one of the main buildings, which is the title of the song. Then I made the camera pan in further to these words to draw attention to them. This shot gave the lyric video a far higher production value due to its complexity. The following shots in the lyric video are of Michael Jackson in various scenes. Unlike my first lyric video, I decided to add far more layers to this one, in turn making it more dynamic. An example of this is obviously the opening city shot, but also the indoor shots, where there is a piano, as well as a character along with a backdrop all moving independently. It was a conscious decision to have Michael Jackson black and white in each of the colour backdrops. The original intention was for him to stay colourless until he found his love, in which he would then regain his colour, although due to time restraints the video was only 1 minute and I could not add more footage in time. After completing all of the Photoshop documents and animating them, and once they were all synced in After Effects, I moved on to creating the lyrics for the video. The font I chose for the lyric video was Existence. This is the font. I chose this font because I really liked its modern look, and it was easily readable. When I started animating the text, I tended not to use the animated text presets within After Effects, but instead using keyframes to get the desired effect. I used the blur effect, for example. I set in and out keyframes of when the text was there and wasn't, and the next blurred in and out. I preferred this look as it was simple and understated, and didn't draw attention away from the video. I also added slight movement to the text, up and down. This helped remove the static look. Finally, I added black bars to the video to give the 21:9 aspect ratio. One of the main problems I had when creating the lyric video was matching up the audio. This was mainly because After Effects doesn't support live audio playback. The only way to hear audio match with music without rendering was to do a RAM preview. This took around 10 seconds to even load the preview, and then played audio for a few seconds. This made it particularly hard to match the lyrics. In hindsight, I think it would have been far more time effective to do the animated lyrics in a software such as Premiere, as live audio is supported. Once everything was finished, I then color corrected and began rendering. I rendered the video in 1920 by 1080 and the codec was H.264, which is ideal for YouTube. In my previous YouTube upload, I overlooked the importance of tagging your video, so I made sure to tag this video correctly to reach the right audience. Since the objective was to get as many views as possible, I used the website vidstats.com to look at the most popular videos of that week and day, and used some of the tags of those videos. Aside from tagging my video, I did many other things in attempts to maximize my views. First of all was the name. I included the words official video, This was a keyword that people searched for when looking for a music video on YouTube. Furthermore, at the time of uploading, there was no music video, therefore generating interest. After completing and uploading my video, I shared with Facebook as well as Google Plus and Twitter. Once the video was placed on Google Plus, I was able to get feedback from my entire class on that video. The feedback definitely confirmed what I thought was good and bad in the video. If I were to go back, I would have definitely given more time into creating a more understandable storyline, as well as making the entire look more streamlined.